You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Good day, everybody. I'm stealing Joey's down under phrase. Hey, everybody. And look, if you're tuning in live or watching on the replay, of course, this is the Joey and Mick show, really. And of course, this is personal development with a lifestyle plan. And look, I suppose, just like, subscribe, share, click the notifications. We're streaming across a couple of platforms, the Facebook pages and YouTube. So wherever you're watching us, feel free to leave a comment in the chat. You know, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And of course, we're studying the Bob Proctor, You Were Born Rich. We're in part 6. There's 6 parts in total. And this is the remastered. You can find it on YouTube. The link is in the description. So you can actually download the workbook and join in. You know, look, it should be fun. You know, if it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it, really. And really what we're focused on is really transforming our lives. And you can join in on that and transform your life too. And that starts really, you know, by changing your thinking. You know, one thing that we learned going through all this is that your thoughts control your feelings control your actions, and your actions control your results. So if you're not getting the results that you want, you know, maybe you need to level up, as Bob would say, you know, and, you know, start by changing your thoughts. You know, you've got to picture it in your mind. But we're going to get into it. But this is all about, you know, looking, feeling, moving, and, of course, doing better. And we all want better. You know, and my focus really is to look and feel the best that I've felt in a decade. And really, that's what I'm trying to do. You know, maybe I should show that before and after picture that I've got, Joey. It's quite a good one. But look, you can download your goal sheet. The link for that is in the description. And kick off your 30-day reset, whatever that is. But look, Joey, welcome to the show. Say hello.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Joe.
So exciting. You know, I just watched some of our team and our leader in the Bahamas cruising on the ship, and I said to myself, I need to tell Mike we need to be on that ship one day.
Was Nick there?
Beg your pardon?
Was Nick there?
Yeah, Nick and Sabrina and David Moses, they have a little interview. So I thought, you know, my mind just got like this. Me and Mike need to be on that ship because we want to do the live on the ship one day.
Absolutely. I love the idea of that.
You know, because, you know, we want to show the possibility of, you know, when you work on yourself, develop yourself, become the best version of yourself, and you know that you have a great reservoir of abundance with you. And whatever you think about you can do in life, you will totally can achieve it by give your all focus and laser attention to, you know, to what your mind is thinking about. Because what you think about all day long is who you become. And like you said, when you become the person that you want to be, so that you can go out and take action towards your goal, I think there's a chance there that you will achieve what you want if you have the right mindset, the right emotion about that mindset, and go out there and do the right action by having a plan and a system, which we have here, and we can help you with that. So, Mike, thank you very much for having me, and always looking forward for our time together, because this is the foundation of my week. And be here, be present with you. Not only that I can say hello and share some values with what we learned from the information that we found through our community, through our mentor and our leader, Bob Proctor, God bless him, and our global team. We're so grateful that we are able to pay it forward, doing our parts by paying for it. We didn't keep it to ourselves, but we want everyone to have it, because the abundance is for everyone. So I'm ready. I'm grateful to be with you all the time, and thank you for having me.
And don't forget, you know, Joey's Facebook link is on the screen right now. You can find him at joey.unger. And if you're not following him, you should be, because he posts some great videos, some great inspirational stuff, you know, and, you know, like just listening to Joey's, you know, thoughts, you know, like, to be honest, you've done some amazing videos last week, Joe. Talk about sincerity, unbelievable stuff. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, you really are making a difference for those people that you're working with. So keep it up, Joe. And of course, you can find me here, The Real Mick McQuillan. This is a new page that I've set up, and it really is focused all about, you know, my weight management journey, my weight loss journey. And I had some thoughts about that, you know, as to why my weight was going up and down and up and down and up and down. And you can follow me there to learn more about that. But again, look, this is really about getting your thinking straight. That's what this is about. So we're going to jump into the last part of the You Were Born with, and we'll see. I think he's going to close it up now. So we're gonna get to the end of this. Let me see. I need to share my screen. Okay, right. Just give me 1 second, and we'll get this going. I'm wondering what this is going to be about. Don't think in reverse. I'm interested to know what this is, Joe.
Oh, nice.
I want you to focus on this sand timer. Let the sand in the glass represent your life. Let the sand in the bottom of the glass represent the past. The sand in the top of the glass will represent the future. Now, really think about this. The sand in the bottom of the glass represents the past. Everything that has happened right up to this moment in your life has been absolutely essential to make you the person you are to prepare you to do whatever it is you're going to do. I'm of the
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not
opinion that we never really know what we're preparing ourselves for. But if we're using the right ideas, we can be absolutely certain it's something great. Sand in the top of the glass represents the future. There's absolutely no way that any of us can tell how much sand there is in the top of our glass. You know, I remember my grandmother when I was just a little boy, because she pretty well raised me, she and my mother. But my mother worked all day, and Grandma was the one that was home when we were small. And Grandma came to live with us a year before I was born. My grandfather had passed away a year before I was born. So when I arrived on the scene, Grandma was already there. She would probably have been around 60 at that time. So in my mind, she was a very old lady. Now, I've since changed my attitude about that, but at that time, Grandma was way up there. And you know, every day of my life that Grandma spent with us, I think I heard her say, "I'll soon be gone, dear. I'll soon be gone." Well, you know, it got to a point we thought Grandma was never going to go. Now, we didn't want her to, of course. She was a dear soul. She really was. But Grandma kept saying, "I'll soon be gone." She was 94 when she left. 94. And from the time she was 60 until she was 94, she was saying, "I'll soon be gone." Now, around the same time, I had a young friend of mine, Bob Yates. Bob and I went everywhere. We did everything together. We were, as the saying goes, as thick as thieves. And Bob was 2 or 3 months older than I was, I guess. He got his driver's license 2 or 3 months ahead of me. And I remember Bob had this sort of a panel truck. It was like a sedan delivery. Today, I suppose we would call them vans. But it was on July the 9th, 1951. Bob was coming in the Kingston Road Highway, the highway you would travel on if you were coming from Montreal into Toronto, Canada. And there's one area that some of you would be familiar with where you can either go along onto Danforth or cut down onto Kingston Road. And Bob was cutting on down to Kingston Road, and it was necessary to go under a concrete overpass. And as Bob come down there, wham, just like that, he hit that concrete overpass, and like that, Bob ran out of sand. 16. Now, that was a terrible impact in my life. I'll never forget it. But if you had asked Bob a half hour before that how much sand he had in the top of his glass, he probably would have said half a century for low. He didn't have a half an hour. Now, I choose to believe that we all hope that we're going to go to bed tonight. And we're going to get up tomorrow morning. We're going to go to bed tomorrow night. But none of us know with absolute certainty whether that's going to happen or not. I remember the first speaker I ever heard was Charlie Cullen. And Charlie's lights went out doing what I'm doing right now, right on stage. I suppose when Charlie went on to make the speech that he went on to make, he probably thought he had lots of sand left, but he didn't. And every one of us can tell a story like this, probably tell a number of them. See, the point is, you don't know how much future you've got. What's gone is gone. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Some of you have had divorces. Some of you have probably had bankruptcies. Some of you have had terrible things happen in the past. But what's gone is gone. It's in the past. And to spend your time focusing on the past is to spend the only thing that you've got, and that's what's right here, right now, because the sand never stops running. This is all we've got. And to spend your time now thinking of what happened there is making absolute certain that the future is going to be the same as the past. Now, I don't suppose many of us spend a lot of time thinking about that, but a lot of us spend a lot of time making that error. That's an excellent symbol. All you got is now. We're saying here, don't think in reverse. There's a great poem here, Forgive. I remember years and years ago, I suffered with headaches, terrible headaches. I got to the point where I was taking Bufferin for the headaches. Then I got to the point where I was taking Sinutab with codeine for headaches. There was 16 in the bottle, and I got to the point where I was taking 2 bottles a day. As a matter of fact, most times I didn't even remember my head not aching. But I was sort of numb all the time. Of course, with that much junk in you, I guess you couldn't be any other way. And I remember talking to this chap. I was in the Hotel Vancouver, and I was picking up 2 heavy briefcases or suitcases, and I was in a real rush to get to the airport. He said, "What's the matter with you?" He said, "You look like you're going to pass out." And I said, "I feel like I am." Well, he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "My head is aching so bad, I feel sick to my stomach." Now, some of you suffer with this, and I felt like banging my head against the wall. It was so much pain. He said, "Go and sit down in that chair." And I said, "I don't have time. I got to catch a plane." He said, "Listen, you can always get another plane. You only get one head." He said to me, "Do you know what forgive means?" On the top of page 58, that's the title of the poem, Forgive. And by the way he asked the question, I just thought I probably don't. And I said, "Well, I don't know." He says, forgive means let go of completely, abandon, just let it go. Unequivocally, no strings attached. Now he said, if you want to rid yourself of headaches, just forgive all thoughts that are on your mind. And you just listen to me. And he put me in a totally relaxed state. I felt better than I had felt for years. If you're suffering from headaches, take the relaxation tape out of your program and commit yourself to listen to it every day for 30 days. And as you let yourself get involved in that relaxation tape, you're going to forgive any thought that comes to your mind. You're going to program your subconscious mind to put your body in a totally relaxed vibration, because you're going to find that your head is aching because of the things that you're not letting go of. And it's causing tension, and it's causing an abnormal state of vibration of the cells in the brain, which causes the blood to rush to the head. And as you put yourself in a totally relaxed state, you'll soon become programmed to relax. I know that I would not be able to do what I do as often as I do it, and as long as I do it, if I wasn't relaxed. I am just as relaxed here in front of you or in front of this camera as if I was sitting in my den patting Ginger, my dog. I am. For Linda's sake, or Libby, you see. We have 2 dogs. They accuse me of favoring one of them. Now, probably because I do. I think Ginger's prettier. Now, study that poem. Study the meaning of it. On page 59, we say you'll never obtain any substantial measure of material wealth if you insist upon living your life as if you are looking back through your rearview mirror on your automobile. Nevertheless, it seems to be a very common error which many people have turned into a habit. Let the dead bury the dead. Let it go. I don't care how bad it was, let it go. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you look back in retrospect at that terrible thing that's happened, you're going to find it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to you. Advancement of all kinds is preceded by a crisis. The greater the crisis, the greater the opportunity for advancement. Or you could put it another way. You could say, out of all confusion comes order, a higher degree of order than that which existed prior to the confusion. Because you see, the confusion was a learning state. Remember, I was pointing out that business is fun. It really is. I see business as a game.
What has driving got to do with presenting? If you are a business owner,
game we're playing, and we play to win. And when we're winning, we're having fun. And when we're losing, we're learning. Let's treat both of the experiences exactly the same. They're learning experiences. Now we say, remember the old adage which says, let the dead bury the dead. Stop looking back on your life and worrying about the things which have already occurred and which you can no longer alter. That's like trying to change the time you got out of bed this morning. You're never going to be able to do it. That stands for eternity. You cannot go back and change it, since you cannot let it go. Pursuing that kind of mental activity will never lead to anything worthwhile, any worthwhile accomplishment in your life. You should understand, moreover, that all accomplishments in your life, you should understand, moreover, that all of the great achievers of the past have been visionary figures. They did with their life what, like Scott was saying, he does with his music. He heard it in here. They see their life in here. They're building visions of a great future. We've got a vision of a great company. We've already got a great company. We want a better one. We serve a lot of people. We want to serve more. And as we do, we receive greater rewards. And because we receive greater rewards, we become more comfortable, more creative, and we can provide more service. It's a beautiful cycle that we're in. Looking into the past is a self-doom fulfilling cycle. You just keep getting it worse, worse, worse. We've all done it, so we know what it's like. These visionary figures were men and women who projected into the future, and they did not belabor over things which had already passed. They thought of what could be rather than what already was, and then they moved themselves into action to bring these things into fruition. That quote at the bottom of the page, I should have actually given the person credit for it that said it. Life is either a series of endings or a series of beginnings, at the bottom of page 59. I went to a church service in Santa Ana, California. Philip Nicola, great preacher. He preached a sermon on that one day. Life is either a series of endings or a series of beginnings. If you're looking back, it's a series of endings. Look ahead. Something great is coming. Leland Val Vanderwall said something when we were sitting having coffee. And I jotted it down. Every time this guy opens his mouth, he drops a pearl. I'm so wise. He said, let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around us in awareness. Was there ever depth in that? Let's not look back in anger. Let's quit thinking in reverse, nor forward in fear, but around us in awareness. Take all the resentments and guilts. You know what it's doing? Resentments and guilt is simply choosing to build a negative idea here over something that someone did to you, and then letting ourselves get emotionally involved in it, and we move into the same vibration. Now think. I don't care how justified you may feel in holding a resentment. It's a dumb game. Ray Stanford used to tell me it was like throwing dust into a strong wind at someone else. You know where the dust is going to end up. You may feel justified, but I'm going to tell you, a person of understanding will not do it. Will not do it. That is an act, a mental act of ignorance. Love them. The law will see that they get their reward for what they did. You don't have to look after that. And as long as you're holding that resentment in your mind, it's like replaying the same thing over and over again. And the same physical experience is taking place. You're moving into that vibration. I had a good doctor friend of mine that says rheumatism or arthritis is nothing but frozen hate. It's dwelling on things like that. Dries up the joints in the body. What's guilt? I've done things in the past I'm not proud of. I'm quite certain you have. Many of you. And they bothered me for a long time. They really did. And I wasn't able to get rid of it. So I went to see a psychiatrist. He ended up working with us. That's true. He helped me, but I helped him too. And just through a series of right questions, I developed an awareness and it was gone. I have absolutely no guilt anymore. I just will not tolerate it. That's looking back at something you did that you thought was wrong in the past and reliving it and the same vibration takes place. You see, resentment and guilt are very closely aligned. One's directed towards someone else, the other's directed towards yourself, but you're the beneficiary of both, and neither one of them are positive. Most destructive emotions that you can get involved in. There's a great affirmation at the bottom of the page. And anyone that wants to rid themselves of resentment or guilt or a lot of disease, I would suggest you write it out probably 100 times a day. I willingly release the thoughts and things that clutter my mind. There are all the old ones in there that you're not even aware of. And then say, I release whoever it is. Name them all to their highest good. That means happiness, health, and prosperity. Just release them. The person could be dead. It's not the person that's causing the problem. It's the remembrance. It's the idea. I release them to their highest good and me to mine. And you see them happy, healthy, and prosperous. And you see yourself happy, healthy, and prosperous. And then you say, it is so. Thank you, Father. Father being infinite power. I want to suggest on page 61 that you read the story of Patty's Cruise. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I want you to read it. I want you to read it. Because I sat down with her. Patty's a good friend of mine. We're related. We worked together. And she had a definite problem. And over a cup of coffee, I gave her a suggestion that solved the problem. And she learned a great lesson. And any one of you can learn a great lesson from the story that's in here. You're always saying, I'd like to do this, but I can't because you get the answer there. Now, on the next page, on page 62, if you have been guilty of allowing your sales sheet, your bank account, or the x-rays your doctor takes of your body control the way you feel or think or view your sales, your financial position, or your health, I can assure you that just as certain as it's going to get dark tonight, there will not be any marked improvement in your life in any of these areas. There won't be. What did Paul Hutsey tell me? What did he tell you? He's been in the business 38 years. He's been in management 35. When I sat down and talked with him, he had been in the business 24 years, and he'd been in management 22. And he said, I know I can get better results, and I don't know why I'm not. I know I'm a good person. I know my people are good people. But he said, I don't know why I'm not doing it. I said, I can tell you in about 15 minutes. I said, Paul, you're thinking in reverse. You're letting the sales sheet control everything in your life, and you're creating more of the same. It's not changing. And I said, you got to quit doing that. You got to realize that the results you're getting has been controlled by the way you think. And I said, what you want to do is keep your mind on a higher image rather than a lower concern. You take this magnificent power and you build the picture in here that you want. And you let yourself get emotionally involved in that picture. And I said, Paul, it'll happen so fast, it'll make your head spin. What did he tell you?
So, Joe, just give me your thoughts just quickly, up to this point so far, right? Because there was a lot in that. But, for me, I think he was talking about, well, I've made a note here about forgiveness, others and yourself. And of course, he was talking about looking back. And I did like that phrase, out of confusion comes order, because that is true, right? Sometimes when you're kind of confused, it's good to be in a state of confusion because you're searching for answers, right? But look, what are your thoughts? I'm interested to know. Have you got a cold? Have you got hay fever?
I think hay fever. I've been sneezing. Okay. I don't know. I just take it off my jacket. It's cold here. It's cold here and raining today. But it's keep coming up. Oh, mate, what a session. And it's, start with forgiveness. It's funny because we do our mastermind every Sunday and we read the mastermind principle. And part of the mastermind principle is, forgive. I would like to forgive the people that hurt me in the past because I want to move forward with a clean slate. And it's so true. When you don't have forgiveness in yourself, you kind of hold on to a load or a burden. And because you carry that burden with you, the only way to forgive is to totally release that load. And it's so true because if you can't, you carry with you, that guilt, that feeling of, that someone. It's like, you know, if you have any issue with someone, for example, and then I kind of like not let go of that feeling and that, hate or anger. It's I'm taking away the power. I'm giving away the power, to that person, and that person carry the power, and I live with nothing, live with the emptiness, with the nest, and there's no benefit for me. So for me, the main takeaway for me is the forgiveness. You have to let go, no string attached, and as soon you let go, you find yourself is up to do the good you deserve. And like he just mentioned on the diagram, the only thing that will change your result is always think about the high level frequency of what you really want. Forget about other people thinking of you, their reaction about you. It won't do you any good. Just let go of them. Let go, let go, deal with it, and you just move forward with your life, because your mind will need to be shift to the highest frequency, or your goals, shift to your goal, and then you stay there and emotionally attached to it, and you're gonna move in action to get the result that you want. Otherwise, nothing happened for you. You think about all day long the person you hate, or your anger, or you don't want to deal with him, and you give away your power. And no, that person might not use your power, but your power is with someone else, because your mind, your emotional, your action is kind of like with that incident of with that person. So, very, very powerful concept if we understand that, and it's so true. And I like how he said, "I'm viewing about business as a game," and it's so true, Mike. Sometimes we just got up with the technicality of you know business or something like that. Or sometimes it's just like a game. I remember I shared this in Mike. When I went to my initial 5 weeks of training with the army, it was tough. One of the toughest thing in it, because the people there were good people, but they turn into another different instructor. They're just normal people like us. But when they give the authority to become a trainee instructor, they just become a different person. They will grill you. If you make a little mistake, they will put you in front of all the rest and yell at you, telling you this. A lot of people cry, and some people, they left, they give up, they quit. But it's a game, because they want to test your mental toughness. They want to test your, why you choosing to be in the army. Do you really want to save your country? Do you really want to discipline yourself? And they do everything in the first 2 3 weeks to break you or make you. So that's why it's very important that we see the big picture as a game. Whatever we do in life is a game. Play the game. you know when we win, we have fun. When we are not winning or losing, we learn. A lot of people, when they lost, they gave up. They just throw everything out of the door and said, maybe it's not for me. My friend is right. This is not working for me. And he just got back to the comfortable zone and just be the best in it. And mourning, whinging, complaining, nothing happened if you do that. So forgive yourself. Very important. And forgive the people that they hurt you in the past, because you want to move forward with a clean slate. You want to move forward with a new person, new spirit, new mindset, and go and chase after what you really, really want in life. Mike?
It's funny, Joey, you were saying, I said to my wife this morning, I can't remember what we were talking about, but she'd said something. And I said to her, I said, look, don't hate the player, hate the game. Like you've got to learn to play the game better, right? Because it
Mm.
is.
Yeah.
And you know, and when you're talking about the game for me is how you respond or how you react to things, right? And that's a choice. It's just a choice. So, you know, Bob was talking about all you have is now. All you have is this moment right now. And if, as you were describing, if you're thinking in this moment about something that happened to you this morning or yesterday, and you're feeling that in a low vibration, a negative vibration, or you're thinking hateful thoughts or whatever else, that is going to manifest in your body, whether in some kind of pain. Bob was talking about that, and of course, then so you've got to forgive. And I think that we find it's very easy to forgive other people. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, but sometimes somebody does something to you or says something to you, and they say it to you in anger or whatever else like this. They don't apologize, but you hold on to that. You hold on to that. The truth is, it's not yours to hold on to. It's theirs.
Yeah.
It's not yours. It's theirs. Let them keep it. Let them feel that way. You don't have to feel that way. I certainly don't. And I learned that years ago, like years and years. Damn, we just moved from the city. I think I was telling you the story before. We moved from the city into the countryside, and it was so difficult for me, Joey. Do you know what I mean? Because like there's nothing around. Every day's like a Sunday, time slows down. It was really, really hard. And all I could hear was all of the chatter and thoughts in my brain, just moving around all the time, constantly thinking about things that had gone on in the past and this, that, and everything else. And I spoke to one of my mentors about it, and he said, Mick, he says, you need to practice being bored. And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, you just need to go and sit in nature, concentrate on your breathing and just listen, and it changed my life. All of that clutter went away. All of the, like I started to realize that all of this stuff just was not important, because when you're in that moment, there's nothing else to worry about other than what's happening in that moment. And when there's nothing happening in that moment, it means that there's nothing to worry about, So, some of the stuff, you just got to let it go. And certainly we find it harder to forgive ourselves of things that we've done in the past. We beat ourselves up about it. The truth is, like you can say sorry. You can talk to that person and say, hey, listen, look, I know I did this 20 years ago, but I'm sorry that happened. Do you know what I mean? And if they choose to accept that apology, great. If they choose not to accept it, that's okay too, because that's on them. It's not on you. You can move on from there. Maybe that person's already gone and you can't, you can write it down. You can write it in a letter. You don't have to post it or anything else like this, but you can write it down, and, you've got to let it go. As you were saying, no strings attached. It's got to be gone. So, and then of course, when you're looking backwards all the time, and you're a driver, Joe, you drive, I drive, and many people who are watching this, they're going to drive, they give you this huge, great big windscreen to look through, this tiny little rear view mirror, so you can look back every now and again. Only every now and again, because it's more important where you're going than where you've been, and where you've been is not going to dictate where you're going to go. Yeah. So, look, there is a lot. There's no doubt there's a lot in this. And but forgiveness is a big thing. It absolutely is a big thing, because if you can't forgive yourself, then you're going to be living in the past. You're going to be living in those emotions and swimming in those emotions. And when you're swimming in that, it's going to pull you down. It's going to just pull you down, and you don't want to be down. You want to be up. You want to be uplifted. So you've got to, and sometimes that can be about the environment. You've got to find a group of people that are going to lift you up and believe in you, even when you don't believe in you. And that's, we found that in the community that we're in, where, you get a lot of encouragement, motivation, support. No one can do it for you, but they can help and guide you and things like this. And this is important. We all need a bit of guidance. Do you know what I mean? We all do.
Yes.
No one knows everything, like I'm certainly not the end product, will I ever be? All you're trying to do is be better, right? That's it. Yeah. That's all we can try and be, is be better. And it's not easy, Joe. It's not easy to be better. Anybody who tells you that it is, they've not tried.
Yeah.
Like I think, like when I think about, my experiences, sometimes there's things that I make look easy. And the reason why I make them look easy is because I've done them that much. I've become so good at them. It just looks easy. But someone else trying to do it would maybe stumble around, they'd make wrong decisions and things like this. So that's about practice, about repetition, about, getting comfortable in that space. But the truth is, is there going to be somebody out there who's better than me? For sure there is. There is, but I've got to find them and learn from them, so that I can be better, because we can all be better. No one's the finished article, are they?
Yes, yes, definitely.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, no. I just when you talk about the glass end, one of the thing I learned, Bob, and I'm grateful. Bob is no longer with us. I got the stick man at the back.
Yeah.
I got the book holder at the back. I not it's like copying, but because I want to remember him. Every time I look at it, I flip the class, and it's remind me what all he's talking about. The sand represent the time, and he said how he talked about his friend that he just drive bus, young age, end up dying. No one expected, but he didn't have enough sand, and every time I flip the sand class, it kind of remind me of how much time I have in this world, and you know, I don't want to leave early because I have a lot to give to this world and help a lot of people, and but this is that's the fact is we don't know how the time that we have in this world. All we have to do is give our all, go give our best, and like you said, just do your best, do your
And that's
best.
funny, Joe. That's funny you say that, because that's why, when you talk about that, talk about flipping that timer and how the sand represents time flowing through that. Why would you waste your time thinking or feeling angry about something that you cannot control or cannot change?
Hmm.
There's no point. There's no point in worrying about it. If you can't, what is that? I can't remember. Is it the Serenity Prayer? To give you the under. Yeah, I can't remember it. I'm actually gonna. I was actually thinking about it when I was on my way down here. But to be able to control the things that you can control, and the stuff that you can't control, what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Nothing.
All you can do is control the stuff that you can control. And what is that? Well, you can control how you think. And just as Bob was getting into it, and we're going to get straight back into it, you can control how you think, what you focus on. Focus is so important. If you're focusing on something down here, which is going to distract your attention away from, what it is that you really want. Look, this is just too much for me, Joe. I just can't take it anymore. Just can't take it, man. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, true. Overflow.
I'm telling you, it is. It is. No.
9 months he went to the top of the company. 9 months. He had been trying for 22 years to do something. What did Al tell you? But he said, I don't know why I'm not doing it. I said, I can tell you in about 15 minutes. I said, Paul, you're thinking in reverse. You're letting the sales sheet control everything in your life, and you're creating more of the same. It's not changing. I said, you got to quit doing that. You got to realize that the results you're getting has been controlled by the way you think. And I said, what you want to do is keep your mind on a higher image rather than a lower concern. You take this magnificent power and you build the picture in here that you want. And you let yourself get emotionally involved in that picture. And I said, Paul, it'll happen so fast, it'll make your head spin. What did he tell you? In 9 months, he went to the top of the company. 9 months. He had been trying for 22 years to do something. What did Al tell you? 18,000 to 500. I was saying to someone downstairs, I used to read these stories in the books when I first started, and I thought, oh, this can't be true. Go follow these people. Talk to them. That's why we brought Paul Hutsey in here. That's why we've had the various people stand up that we know that changes have taken place and come back to these seminars. And they keep coming back, and they keep.
The best prayer to attract wealth begins when you understand that the strongest energy in the universe is not thought.
Coming back. That's why you should keep watching what you're looking at. On page 63, these are just action lessons. I want you to take the chapter on Don't Think in Reverse. And I would suggest that you read it over a few times and ask yourself, what did I learn from this chapter? What did I learn from it? I would suggest you take your own voice and you narrate that chapter and the one John just went through on the razor's edge. Put them on tape. You've got a tape in your folder for your own affirmations, your own commitments, and your own goals. Take that tape and record it. Some people come to me and say, there's nothing on this tape. You know what they're saying? I'm not thinking, I'm not reading, I'm not listening, I'm not looking, and I'm not doing what the program tells me to do. Take that tape and record your commitments. Record your goals. Record your affirmations, your positive statements to yourself. And in your own voice, Dave Mifsud was telling me one day, he says, what an excellent idea. He said, your own voice, one that you trust. But Dave was really saying, I trust my own voice. Some people don't, you know, Dave. Read that lesson over and ask yourself what you learned from it. Now, the last lesson is a classic. I talked to a person here, right here in this spot, within the last couple of hours. And I told that person to focus in on this lesson. Focus in on this lesson. Now, I want you to think. You want, and I want, greater good here. Positive things to happen. But understand this, I cannot set anything where this lectern stands until I get rid of the lectern. I cannot put anything where that camera is standing until I get rid of the camera. And nor can you put anything where that television set's sitting until you get rid of the television set. You must create a space for the good that you desire. I would hate to guess at the number of people that would love to meet and greet and love and have a meaningful relationship with someone, and they're never going to do it until they let go of that old relationship. Person may be gone, but the idea is still there. You got to create a space for the good that you desire. You just must do it. And if you don't, you're never going to have that relationship. You want something in your home? We have people that come in and look after our place 2 or 3 times a week. We got a big kitchen. There's a sofa in there, chair. We haven't liked that sofa or chair for a long time. Linda says, let's create a vacuum. They were gone. Lots of room in our kitchen now, I'll tell you. Nature abhors that vacuum. Only be a period of time until there's new furniture in the kitchen. You got to create a space for it. Create a space. When it comes to furniture and stuff like that, people have garage sales. I just say a silent prayer for them as I'm driving by their house. Having a garage sale is a dumb thing to do. Give it away. Give it away. Most people don't know how to give. Remember I said it should be spontaneous. Here's a beautiful poem by Beer. He said, to get he had tried, yet his store was still meager. To a wise man he cried in a voice keen and eager, pray tell me, how may I successfully live? And the wise man replied, to get, you got to give. To get, you got to give. As to giving, he said, what have I to give? I've scarce enough bread, and of course, one must live. But I would partake of life's bountiful store. Came the wise man's response, then you must give more. The lesson he learned, to get, was forgotten. Think of the number of people out trying to get. Toward mankind, he turned with a love new begotten. As he gave of himself in useful living, then joy crowned his days, for he grew rich in giving. I like that lesson. I like giving things. I really do. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I've had people tell me from time to time, you give too much away. You couldn't possibly give too much away. What a dumb statement. What a dumb statement. You ought to take part of all you get and put it back where it came from. If a farmer doesn't do that, you're soon going to have a poor farmer. They are what you call dumb farmers. Farmer takes part of his crop, puts it back in the ground. And if you don't take part of all you receive and put it back where you got it from, you're not going to get much more. We hold on to old ideas. Why do we do all these things? We're insecure. We're insecure. Remember how physical we are? We got lots of physical things around us. We feel comfortable. Did you ever watch the advertisement on television that American Express have? See a young couple having a great time, nice music, and all of a sudden, we lost our credit cards. And you hear this voice, you have American Express. And a calmness comes over them. Do you ever drive downtown, you go to park your car and you reach for your purse or put your hand in your pocket and all of a sudden you see the purse and the table in the hall? Or yeah. You see the money on the dresser? Feeling good security in here, isn't it? Isn't it strange how we feel secure if we've got a few bucks on us? A little bit of paper? So dumb. Security is an inside thing. It's inside. And the more we learn about ourselves, the less we need all these things around us. Some people are real pack rats. Well, on page 67, we're talking about removing these mental blocks. You see, it not only works with physical things, it works with mental things. Because remember, the physical and the mental, the non-physical are all the same. And we must create a space for the good that we desire. In the book, you'll see that I dedicate this book to my Aunt Marg Moyer. I love her very much. She and I are very close friends. And Marg and Don, her husband and daughter's family, they came to the seminar. And when Marg first came, she said it was such an awakening for her. She'd always been so subservient. She never thought that she could have anything. And if she ever learned anything, I'm going to tell you, she learned this law. I was over at her house one day, and she was telling me how much she disliked her drapes. And I said, no, you don't, Marg. If you didn't like them, they wouldn't be there. I said, you only have around you the things you're in love with, in harmony with. She said, well, I don't love them. And I said, well, you really don't get rid of them. I said, have you never learned the law, the vacuum law of prosperity? Boy, I'm going to tell you, she locked into it. She got up and took the drapes down. Don was yelling, we haven't got any money to buy new ones. And I said, it won't be long until you have new ones there, Marg. You'll get sick of living in a fishbowl. She didn't listen to Don. The drapes were gone. I said, give them away. I went over one day, and there was beautiful new shears and new drapes on the window. She was so happy. And every time she looked at them, she felt good instead of looking at the old ones and feeling bad. Wasn't too long, I went over there, and all the living room was empty. There was no furniture there. I'm telling you the truth. Then they went through the closet and cleaned the closets out, and pretty soon she had new clothes. You know, now they live in a beautiful home, brand new home. They get rid of the home. And I remember when they were moving into this beautiful new home, I saw nothing going in one end of the room. And I was looking, I was saying, Marg, the room's going to be a little out of balance. You should put something there. She says, there is something there. And I said, what's that? She's my baby grand piano. I said, what do you mean your baby grand piano? I said, you haven't got a baby grand piano. Oh, yes, I have. It's just not arrived yet. You go into their house today, there's a beautiful baby grand there. You must create a space for the good that you desire. On page 69, I'm going to ask you to write down clothes closet under area. Clothes closet under area. Now, I want you to write down a date within 7 days of today's date. Completion date. Put down a day, could be today, tomorrow, the next day, but within 7 days of completion date. Now, what I'm going to suggest you do is that you test this law. I'm going to suggest you go through your closet, and every piece of clothes or garment you pick up that you do not wear, you get rid of it. You just put it on the floor. And you're going to get to the point where you're going to grab one garment and you're going to have a difficult, it's almost like it's welded to the railing. Because that garment you paid a lot for, and you haven't worn it very often. In fact, you only had it on a couple of times, but you don't like it. It doesn't feel right, or it doesn't fit right. But you're thinking, I spent so much on it, so good I can't throw it out. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Completely clean the closet out. Get rid of the shoes. Nice idea, isn't it? That's right. You want a new, I know, I can tell by looking at you, you want a new. I mean, you're just so excited about this. Do you know in a relatively short period of time, that closet will all fill up again? You'll say, but where will I get the money? You'll attract it, and you'll get the clothes that you want. There's a young lady sitting right here in the front, Heather. She's just gone through that. And James paid. And then I want you to think of the other areas in your life that you want to get rid of things, different rooms. Some of you have a sofa you don't like. Get rid of it. Some of you have an automobile that you can't stand. Get rid of it. You won't walk for long. Now, on page 70, I want to suggest that you stop and think of some of the ideas that you had locked into your mind when you started to listen to this. I want you to write them down, and on the opposite page, write down the new idea that now you accept as the truth. Make up your mind that you are going to create a vacuum by letting go of that old idea and accepting the new idea. You study that vacuum law of prosperity chapter, and study it and study it and study it, and I guarantee you your life will be filled with beauty. Create a space for the good that you desire. I was talking to a manager of a sales operation. He was telling me he wanted more people working in his office. I said, do you have an empty desk? And he said, no. I said, you haven't got any space for one. I said, create a space for one. Get the desk. Put the phone on it. Put everything there that you need. And I said, before long, there'll be somebody behind the desk. And if you doubt me, you try it. If you doubt me, you try it. Now, we're going to bring this thing in for a landing. But before we do, I want to suggest that you watch this at least once a day. You don't have to watch it all, just a little bit. Do you know the beautiful part about this is that I have been recognized around the world as...
So I spent the last 10 years figuring out how to build my own online money printing business.
Having a lot of information on this one subject. And I get very well rewarded for sharing it. I really do. I don't meet many people that know more about this subject than I do. There are people around, but I don't meet many of them. And when you get to that point, your stock goes up. You know what always amazed me? I've never studied it very much. I've only studied it a little bit, but I studied it a little bit every day for 27, 28 years. And you'd be amazed just how fast it adds up. It's just like the $20 bill, Andy. 20 bucks today. In a short period of time, it's $1.5 million. Put to work properly. You put these tapes to work properly. Every day, just turn them on for a little bit. Turn some of the junk off that you're walking on that box. Most people watch the best of the worst. They just flip around until they get something they can tolerate. No. Use something that'll really stretch your mind. Well, here we are coming to the end of the program. The end of the program is actually the beginning of the program. We've pointed out numerous times that repetition is one of the keys to success. As we went through the Born Rich program, John and I made a number of suggestions. We suggested that you make a commitment and you write your commitment out. Put it in writing. We suggested you make a number of affirmations, positive statements from yourself to yourself. I read one time where it said the mark of a superior performer is an individual that can give themselves a command and then follow it. We recommended that you write your goal out, that you relax on page 30 and redefine the goal. See yourself as the person you want to be. Now, number 8 cassette in your program is for you to fill in. You read number 8 cassette, the audio cassette, it says your own narration of your affirmation.
That's it, Joe. I think we're done. I think we're done. I don't think there's any more. Now, I know that there's, I don't think there's any more lesson. That's the end of it. I think there's a little bit of, yeah, I'll skip to it after this. And we'll, in fact, shall I go there now? I don't think there's much more looking at this. It's just really some, I think it's just talking about the tapes, you know, and the books, and just
Recognition. They do some recognition.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're done, Joey. I think we're done.
Oh.
You know, so look, I'm happy to have gone through all of that. You know, that creative vacuum bit at the end, that makes a lot of sense. You know, like,
Yeah.
I can understand how you could do that with getting rid of your car or getting rid of your furniture, getting rid of your clothes and everything else. But how do you create a vacuum in that mind for the new mindset to come into? I think he did. I think that was kind of, how do you get those new ideas in? You know, how do you get the old ones out? How do you create that vacuum? Any ideas?
It's funny because when you mentioned about the mind, I didn't really think about the mind. I was thinking about the physical side, you know, because I liked the idea that he saw with the closet. He went there, sorted out your clothes, because it's so true. We bought clothes and it's sitting there. We didn't want to get rid of it because it must be given to us by someone special, or it was expensive when we bought it. But we never.
Let me tell you a quick story. I bought a jacket a couple of
Mm.
years ago. Bought a jacket, beautiful jacket. Still got the hook, still got the labels on it, right? And it has sitting in my wardrobe. And you know, like when I bought it, and then no sooner did I buy it, I started my weight management journey. Kind of lost like 20 pounds really quick. Had to cut a couple of holes in my belt, and now the jacket doesn't even fit me. It's just weight. I could wear it. I could wrap it around me. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this jacket? I'm going to take it in, get it tailored, and it's just sitting in there. So when he was talking about that, I was thinking, damn, like it's 200 quid on this jacket. I'm going to have to either give it away to somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I get it. Yeah, maybe I should do that.
Yeah, but you meant when you mentioned about the mind. Now my mindset shift, and it's got my attention because it's so true. Our mind is like a closet, and we keep like some old information. And you were talking about a lot. If your way is not working, how about try ours? Come and have a look. Maybe let go of some of the thing that doesn't work on your mind and your life, your feeling. How about come and try out what we have? See what is work, if it's work for you. If it's not, that's fine, that's okay. um and it's so true. Our mind is the virtual or closet. We have a lot of ideas in our mind. We haven't started working on it, and because it we put it in our mind because it maybe was told to us by our parents. We wanted to, I want you to become like this, and but we know we never do any action about it because we haven't emotionally attached to it, or we haven't emotionally fixed to wear it, like you're talking about your jacket. So maybe, and he was talking about, I really like when he talked about, and that quote, very, very powerful. You must create a space for the desire you need in life. And it's so true. If you don't create the space, how can you fit the new ideas in your mind if your mind is cluttered with a lot of can I swear? A lot of rubbish. So you need to let go, and forgiveness is part of it. You have to forgive
Yeah.
yourself for whatever being
That's
hold
so
of.
true. In fact, Joey, you have just hit the nail right on the head there. You literally have, because like that clutter that's in your brain can be guilt. It can be these emotions that you're thinking and feeling, and by forgiving yourself, you do create the space to have a new thought or have a new feeling, have a new experience, you know. Yeah, that's the really valid point, Joe. Well said. Brilliant. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you. And repetition, like he said, we come to the end, but that's the starting of this program. And it's the same thing. When we go to the end, I think a lot of people think that's it. But in reality and in real life, a lot of people, when they understand the concept, that's the start. And I remember back in the island, they said, if you do a good job, you normally that's it. But they said the rewarding of doing a good job is have another good job to do. So this is the start of a new journey for us. And we finished this program. There's a lot more, and we are exciting. I think you are excited too, because
Yeah, definitely.
the amount
Yeah.
of growth and the learning that we have in this journey is so amazing, and it's reflecting in our way we conversation to people, the way we serve people, because of this material. Because we feed our mind. We talk about feeding our body with nutrition, the right nutrition, and all those supplements. One of the very important investment that you can do is invest in your brain and your mind. Feed it with the right information, feed it with the resources, especially information. And I was doing a live today, and I said, if you want to invest something in yourself, invest in your knowledge. Let me show off my little library, and this is the fact. About maybe 4% of this library I read. I haven't read all of them, Mike, but I'm feeling very smart when I walk past it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, but
You know,
knowing that you can pick up a book and read it, like because look, what is it? The master appears when the student is ready, and literally, like you have your mastery behind you. That really, if that you wanted to learn something or learn something new, or
Yep.
change your emotion or something like that, you could just go and put your hand on a book, pull it out, open up at any page, and change something about your thinking right away. But look, there's no doubt that I've learned a lot, from watching this again. Some stuff that I didn't see before,
Mm.
and there's no doubt it can only make you a better person, but only if you apply it. We talked about this last week, Joe. You talked about it specifically. It's not knowledge isn't power, it's the application of that knowledge. It's how you use that knowledge, whether you're using it for good or bad or whatever. It's how you use that knowledge.
Mm.
And this really just is knowledge that you can use to transform your life in a way to make a difference, not just for you, but for friends, for family, for maybe in your own job, whatever it is that you do. Like if you're looking better, feeling better, doing better, well, then really you're going to get more better in your life, And yes, there are going to be people that hate on you for that, for wanting that. There's nothing wrong with wanting better. There's nothing wrong with being, but you don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to. You can be grateful with what you've got, but it's not a sin to want more or want better. Certainly for yourself and for your family. I don't think it is. We all want better. Anybody who says, oh, like it's funny sometimes because people would say, oh, I'm not bothered about money. The truth is, like try go shopping without it. Like of course you're bothered about money.
Oxygen.
Yeah. So like, the funny thing is, do you know, Joey, like I know if it was a windy day and £10 fell out of my pocket, I'm going to chase it down the street. I think most people would, because it's important, So anyway, listen, look, there's no doubt that I've enjoyed this. We'll have to have a conversation about what we're going to discuss next week, or maybe we can put out a poll or something, see if people are interested in. But there's no doubt there's definite things there. I know that we were talking about, The Science of Getting Rich, which is a great book. And it's a short book too. Do you know what I mean? It's only 3 hours long. It's a really, really, I love that book. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's something that we can look at doing. And I know it's one that Bob studied, and it's one that he talks about, and he's got lessons on that book. So maybe it's worth doing. But listen, Joe, give me your final thoughts, on today and the webinar in general. Your thoughts and feelings on it in general.
Yeah, I just want to start by one thing that I it attract when you share with me just now, and you said if you are not happy with your position or where you live, you can move. And I have to be real, Mike, to our audience and the people who want to watch the replay. The difference of us human being and the tree will stay where they are until they die or someone move them. For us, we can move. We are not tree. So if we are not happy with the situation that we are, the location where we live, we can move because we have the most powerful thing that bless with our creation is the mind. And our mind is the most powerful instrument that gifted to us by our creator. So, we are not tree. We can move, Mike. We can change the situation we are. If your one doesn't work, maybe like the invitation, we call it out from the start of our journey. Maybe try ours. Come and take a look.
Do you know what you said there, Joe? Like, to be honest, you say some really smart things. You were talking about, maybe a tree has to stay there unless somebody else picks it up and moves it. And you're talking about, you can move your physical location. But I think if you move your mind from where you're thinking, move your mind. Like if you can literally, because unless you can be in the worst situation and you can get up and you can leave and you can get out of that situation, but unless you move your mind from that situation, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
You have to move your mind from the situation. It's no good just removing the physical aspect of yourself from it unless you can move your mind from that situation, you're going to continually attract that crap to you. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Joey, you're so fucking smart. You know, like you make me look dumb.
you know, in our island, there's a when it's low tide and you go to Rockies area, there's a fish called lokua. I don't know how to. I wish I know how in English they call it lokua. And they were sitting on that little pond. You know, the fish is like my fingers. You know, and I don't think they can go bigger. But it said, there's a proverb that said the lokua think that his pond is his world. If he only know he's a few meters away from the wide ocean, and I think it's the same thing. When I moved from the island, I think growing up in the island, that's where I belong. That's where, that's my abundance. When I moved location to Australia, I have to admit I was crying like a baby because I knew I moved from my parents, moved from my sibling to a foreign country by myself, and I have to live with foreign people. I have to learn a new culture, a new system, live with my in-law. It was not easy, but I have to admit, when I shift my mindset and have the awareness to change my future, to change my success, my career, and what I really want in life, totally changed the whole things. Now I still look back to where I come from because I never forget where I come from. And that's how it's humbled me. And that's how it's given me humility to remember. Even though I have maybe a little bit success now, I won't forget where I come from. And then it's very important that I hold on to it because it molded me and my character to be humble and always remember the people where I come. That's why my community, I keep in touch with them. I share what I need, and I don't care if they hate me or dislike me for sharing that, success. I've been around with successful people. I'm trying to do something that I do want to become successful because that's the mindset in the island. But then when I realized and open up my mind to abundance and prosperity, I said to myself, I have to share this, whether they like it or not. And it's funny because I said to myself, maybe one day my time I will be charging for my time, and then people start to come in. But I move on in life, and then I don't know. But I share this because it's very important. When I discuss when I moved, it was one of the hardest things to leave my parents, my sibling, and to
Yeah.
start new life in a new
No, you're
country.
making a lot of sense. Because when you moved, you came to this new country, but like your world didn't change until you changed your mind. Do you know what I mean? Which is why you were feeling homesick because your mind was still back at home.
Yeah.
You were thinking, in fact, I just wrote down, see the bigger picture, not the missing piece. And what you were, when you had that experience, you were seeing the missing piece, and that missing piece was home. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't until you were able to see the bigger picture and see a bigger future for yourself that your mind then kind of came along for the ride, and that all of that other stuff that you were thinking kind of quieting down. Maybe it didn't always go away. This is why you still look back. This is why you're still so humble, looking back, not forgetting where you're coming from. Joe, you're making a lot of sense. Making way too much sense for me.
And it was a blessing, to be honest with you. You make the decision to move and migrate here. I end up supporting my parents. Finish my school with one of my dad dream for all of us, the 11 of us, to continue on study until he passed away. And I able to financially take my dad after 21 years from the mainland back to the island, small island where we grow up, and to see his work and his property and stuff like that. So it was a blessing when you open up your mind, open up to other resources, other mentor leadership, to allow you to give you the knowledge and the wisdom to look at the world, with positivity, and say to yourself, I am blessed to be here. And Mike, I say that with from the bottom of my heart, because a few years ago, I was in the hospital looking at the ceiling, but now I'm still talking to you. It's a blessing, and I'm grateful for that. And look, thank you for the opportunity to having me. And if you're watching this or watching the replay, I say that every time, we're proud of you. Hopefully we are adding value in some way. And, if you want to keep in touch with us, you got our contact on the screen, that Mike always put up, and you can follow us, like, subscribe, or even pay it forward by sharing with other people. So, I love you all. Mike, love you, my friend, and always a pleasure. It's a blessing having you in my life.
It is, Joy. To be honest, I'll talk to you when we're done. But I think what you've been doing this week has just been incredible. And don't forget, you can find Joey here at facebook.com/joey.unger. And you can find me at The Real Mick McQuillan. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click that notification bell so you'll see when we're going live. And stick around, because we're going to be talking about a competition where you can win up to $10,000. That'll be coming a little bit later on. So we're going to see what's going to happen, Joe. Right? And listen, I can't wait to see what we talk about next week. But don't forget to put into practice what you've learned over the last couple of weeks. This is the most important thing. Joey hit the nail on the head. It's not, what you know. It's about how you apply what you know. And use it for good. Don't use it for bad. Use it for good. Right?
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.